welcome to my channel. Today we are going to talk about the history of Brunei. Let's get started. Brunei is a small country located on the island of Borneo in Southeast Asia. It is bordered by Malaysia to the north and east and shares maritime borders with Indonesia and the Philippines. The history of Brunei is rich and dates back centuries. Before the 15th century, the region that is now Brunei was inhabited by various indigenous groups. However, the country's history began in 1481, when Sultan Abdul Malik founded the Brunei Empire. The empire stretched from the southern Philippines to the northern parts of Sarawak in present-day Malaysia. During its early years, Brunei prospered due to the abundance of natural resources such as gold, silver, iron, and timber. The economy was primarily based on agriculture, with rice, maize, cotton, and tobacco being the main crops. The Sultanate's vast territories were divided into districts, administered by local chiefs who collected taxes and maintained law and order. Justice was based on Islamic law, and punishments ranged from fines to imprisonment or exile. Slavery was also prevalent during this period, and slaves were mainly used for domestic or agricultural work. In the 16th century, Brunei came under the influence of the Portuguese and Dutch empires. In 1521, Ferdinand Magellan, a Portuguese explorer, landed in Brunei while on his way to the Philippines. He was impressed by the wealth and power of the Sultanate and established friendly relations with the ruling elite. However, the Portuguese presence in Brunei was primarily limited to trade, and they did not establish any permanent settlements in the country. The Dutch also had some contact with Brunei during this period, but it was not until the 19th century that they began to exert a greater influence on the country. In 1881, the Dutch made an agreement with the British to establish a border at the mouth of the Brunei River, effectively ending Brunei's territorial claims over the northern part of Sarawak. This event marked the beginning of Brunei's decline as a major power in the region. During the 19th and 20th centuries, Brunei became a British protectorate and was ruled indirectly through the Sultanate system. The British recognized the Sultan as the head of state, but they also appointed a British resident to oversee the administration of the country. The British introduced many changes to Brunei, including a new legal system, a modern education system, and a public health infrastructure. They also encouraged the development of the country's natural resources, such as its oil and gas reserves. After World War II, Brunei gained independence from the Dutch and became a member of the British Commonwealth. However, it remained under British rule until 1984. During this time, Brunei experienced significant economic growth due to the rising price of oil and gas. The country's GDP per capita increased from less than $1,000 in 1972 over $10,000 in 1984. This rapid economic growth led to improvements in education, healthcare, and infrastructure. The literacy rate increased from 30% in 1960 to over 90% in 1984, and the country's infrastructure, including its roads, bridges, and buildings, was completely modernized. Today, Brunei is known as one of the wealthiest countries in Asia and has a high standard of living. Its economy is primarily based on the extraction and export of oil and gas, which account for over 90% of the country's GDP. Brunei also has a well-developed financial sector, and a number of multinational companies have their regional headquarters in the country. Despite its wealth, Brunei faces challenges such as a high degree of income inequality and a heavy reliance on imported goods. However, the country's government is committed to diversifying the economy and reducing its dependence on oil and gas. This is the end of our video about the history of Brunei. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like and subscribe so you don't miss out on our future videos. Thanks for watching.